Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're kind of hacking the success code, really zeroing in on a concept that flips the script on wealth creation. You know that standard idea, right? That becoming super rich, well, you've got to be born into it, maybe, or just get unbelievably lucky. Like right place, right time. We dug into some fascinating material, excerpts from the Billionaire Brain Wave Mindset, activating wealth frequency, and honestly, what it argues is, well, pretty profound. It suggests the real separator isn't just cash or connections, it's fundamentally about mental frequency. They're operating on a different wavelength, you could say. Mentally, emotionally, energetically, it changes how they see success, how they attract it.
That's exactly right. So our mission today is to really dive deep into this whole billionaire brainwave mindset. We're not just talking positive thinking here. We're exploring the specific mental state, even the neurological habits that seem to drive these incredibly successful people, how they pull in opportunities, make those big decisive moves, and keep that laser focus. We'll look at that core mindset gap, sure, how the day-to-day thinking differs, but we'll also get into the claims around neurological tuning itself. The material basically says that activating certain brain frequencies, consciously or not, is key to getting these thought patterns working for you.
Okay, let's unpack that then. If we sort of park the luck and inheritance idea for a second, what is the fundamental difference? How do average folks and billionaires process life, especially when things get tough or when money's involved?
Well, the author's main point is this distinction between what they call reactive mode and creation mode. Most people, the argument goes, are in reactive mode. Life throws something at you, a surprise bill, a job issue, a market dip, and boom, all your energy goes into just dealing with the immediate fire, responding. Billionaires, on the other hand, supposedly train their minds to live in creation mode. They're not just reacting, they're actively trying to design the outcome they want. It's about training the brain to see possibility, not limitation.
That sounds subtle, but wow, it must change everything about making decisions. You can almost hear it in the language, right? Like the average thought might be an instant, I can't afford that.
Right. And the immediate internal shift for the other mindset is, okay, how can I afford that? It just bypasses that scarcity block straight away. But let's look at risk, because the material makes a really sharp contrast there. That's where you really see it.
Okay, yeah, tell me about the risk thing.
So, faced with a big opportunity, maybe something volatile. The average thought process often defaults to preservation. Whoa, that's too risky, back off. But someone operating in creation mode, they frame it totally differently. It's more like, okay, how do I manage this risk and win?
Huh.
They're not just gamblers throwing caution to the wind, they're calculated risk managers. They kind of assume success is possible and immediately start engineering the path to make it happen while minimizing the downside.
Okay. So it's like engineering, not just hoping for the best, they're already problem solving while the rest of us are still saying, uh-oh. And I liked the materials point on hustle culture too. The default assumption is often, I just need to work harder, right? Like more hours equals more success.
Yeah, which often hits a ceiling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Limited by time. The material argues the successful shift is towards, okay, how do I work smarter? How do I multiply my impact? They're obsessed with leverage. And maybe the biggest difference is timing. Reactive mode says, yeah, I'll get to that someday. Creation mode, it's much more definite. I'm doing this now. I'll figure out the kink as I go. Action, decisiveness over perfection.
That decisiveness, that bias for action, it really does suggest their brains are wired differently somehow, which leads us perfectly into the neurological side of things you mentioned, this connection between like a high-performance mental state and actual measurable brain waves. That's fascinating stuff.
It really is. If mindset training is about focus, then we need to understand the mechanics behind that focus. Every thought, every feeling, it operates at a certain frequency, measured in hertz. It's actual physics happening in your head.
Okay, so can you give us the quick rundown, the 5 main brain waves the material talks about, just so we have a sort of map?
Absolutely. Think of it like gears in a car, maybe. Different speeds for different activities. So way down low, you have delta, that's like 0.5 to 3 hertz. Deep sleep, healing, you're out cold. Then theta, 4 to 7 hertz. This is really interesting. Deep relaxation, kind of dreamy, but also where intuition pops. The material really highlights this for creativity, for those abundance ideas to surface. Then there's alpha, 8 to 12 hertz, calm, reflective. Good for light meditation, passive problem solving, relaxed alertness. Beta, 13 to 30 hertz, this is mostly us right now. Alert, thinking, talking, logical. But the higher end of beta, that gets into stress, anxiety, overthinking. And finally, gamma, 30 up to 100 hertz. This is like peak performance. High-level insights, intense focus, those aha moments, super concentration.
Okay, and the source material zeroes in on theta and gamma. Now, I gotta ask, gamma sounds like intense focus, right? And theta seems like deep chill, almost sleepy. How does someone operate in both? Are they like flipping a switch back and forth constantly?
That's a great question. And it's not about living in theta all day. That wouldn't work.
Yeah.
The argument is more that the highly successful, maybe without even realizing it, they master the access to theta. They dip into that state, the creative intuitive zone, to get the big ideas, the insights. And then, crucially, they can shift quickly into high gamma to execute those ideas with that intense laser focus.
Yeah.
It's about mental flexibility, being fluent in shifting states. The claim is that tapping into theta opens the brain to wealth-building concepts that your normal analytical beta brain might just dismiss as impractical.
So it's moving beyond just positive thinking. It's suggesting actual neurological tuning. Using neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire to basically build pathways for abundance thinking instead of scarcity thinking.
Precisely. You're literally intentionally building the neural architecture that supports quick decisions, high-impact thinking, seeing opportunity. Through habits and practice, you're nudging your brain into those high-performance wave patterns.
Okay, if that's the foundation, the wiring, what about the day-to-day, the habits that keep them in that high-frequency zone? This feels really key for anyone listening. The source says focus is more valuable than just being smart. They filter everything.
Yeah, that filtering concept is huge. It's not just about what they do, but what they don't do, what they don't let in. The material points to three main focus habits. First one is ruthless prioritization. You know how most people have a to-do list that's a mile long, everything feels urgent?
Guilty as charged, yeah.
Well, this mindset involves constantly asking, what is the one thing right now that gives me the most leverage towards my biggest goal? Focusing on that single high-impact action that multiplies results instead of just ticking off 20 small, low-impact tasks.
Can you give an example? Like, what's a high-leverage action versus, say, finally clearing my email inbox, which, I admit, feels productive?
Right, clearing the inbox feels good, but it's mostly reacting to other people's agendas. Low leverage. A high-leverage action might be spending a couple of hours designing one automated system that handles 50% of those emails going forward. Or maybe it's writing one key proposal or making one strategic phone call that could unlock a major partnership. It's about finding the action that creates exponential return, not just linear effort.
Okay, that clicks. Exponential versus linear.
Got it.
What's the second habit?
The information diet. This is critical.
Okay.
While many people consume, well, noise, endless social media scrolling, sensational news cycles, gossip, the ultra-rich are apparently very deliberate about consuming strategic information. Stuff that directly fuels their growth, their leadership skills, innovation in their field, things they can actually use.
So are they saying totally disconnect, ignore the news, or just be super selective?
Be super selective. Filter heavily. The idea is that constant exposure to negativity, outrage, general anxiety-inducing media, it literally lowers your mental frequency. It pulls you back into that stressed beta state. So they actively avoid that. They seek out specific economic data, maybe competitor analysis, case studies on success, expert insights. They guard their attention because they know junk in equals junk out, essentially.
Yeah.
What you feed your brain determines the quality of insights you can access, especially in that gamma state.
Makes sense. Protect the input. And the third habit, environment engineering. This one feels powerful because, yeah, mindset is contagious, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is about consciously shaping your surroundings. Who do you spend time with? What places do you frequent? Even what books are on your shelf? They curate their environment to reflect success, ambition, possibility. They understand that scarcity thinking rubs off, but so does abundance thinking. So they intentionally surround themselves with people and influences that keep their own frequency high.
Okay, connecting this back. These habits aren't just random actions. They have to stem from a core belief system, right? You can only maintain that kind of focus if you fundamentally believe certain things about how money and time work.
Exactly right. And that leads us nicely into the mental rules or core beliefs that seem to guide their actions. The material boils it down to 4 key beliefs that create what it calls the inner wealth frequency. Number 1, money is energy.
Okay, what's the practical difference there between seeing money as like a limited thing you chase versus energy you attract? How does that change what someone does?
It shifts the entire focus from just getting money to creating value. If money is finite, you hoard it, you compete fiercely for your slice. If money is energy, like a current, then it flows towards value. So instead of chasing dollars directly, they focus on creating massive impact, solving big problems, providing huge value to others. They know that the value they put out dictates the energy, the money that flows back to them. It's about contribution, not just acquisition.
That's a big shift. Okay, what's belief number 2?
Problems are pathways. Now, instinctively, we think avoid problems. But the source argues the ultra-wealthy actively seek out certain kinds of problems, not small, annoying daily hassles, but big, systemic challenges where the solution has enormous value. They see a massive unmet need or a huge inefficiency not as a roadblock, but as a giant opportunity sign. Solving a billion-dollar problem often leads to a billion-dollar payday and massive positive impact, too.
So they're not problem avoiders, they're problem solvers on a grand scale.
Yeah,
Viewing problems as raw material for creating value. That's, yeah, fundamentally different.
it is. Belief number 3 ties into something we touched on. Time is the ultimate asset. This is crucial for scaling anything. They ruthlessly protect their time. They actively, constantly trade money for time, not the other way around like most people do in a job. If a task takes them, say, 2 hours, but they can pay someone $100 to do it excellently, they see that $100 as an incredible investment.
Because those 2 hours can then be used for.
Exactly. For that high-leverage gamma state thinking. Designing the next big thing, making strategic decisions, things that only they can do that have much higher potential return.
Right, delegating everything that isn't their unique genius zone. Okay, and the last one, the big one.
One that holds it all together. Abundance is a state of mind. This is the core of the inner wealth frequency. The material really insists that wealth, opportunity, success, it has to exist first as a belief, a feeling, a resonance within your mind, before it shows up in your bank account or your circumstances. It's this internal state of already being abundant that supposedly attracts the opportunities, the right people, the synchronicities. It's why they can stay calm and make clear decisions even when things look chaotic externally, because internally they believe their resources and solutions exist and will be found.
Wow. Okay, so bringing this all home for the listener. Someone hears all this, feels inspired, and wants to actually activate this mindset. Now, we've talked theory, neurology. What are the concrete steps, the practical takeaways from the source?
Yeah, it comes down to building habits that leverage neuroplasticity. Consistency is key. The aim isn't just to think rich, but to actually start experiencing the results of that shifted thinking. Things like making decisions faster, cutting through that overthinking loop, finding yourself attracting more capable people or better ideas, staying cooler under pressure. Those are the tangible signs that tuning is working.
Okay, let's lay them out. What are the 5 actionable steps the material suggests for someone to start right away?
Okay, step 1 is about setting the tone. Start your day in silence. Before the phone, before email, before the chaos hits, just 10 minutes. Visualize the success you want. Feel genuine gratitude for what you have. Imagine abundance flowing in. You're deliberately shifting your brain out of potential morning stress beta and into that calmer, more creative alpha theta state to prime yourself for the day.
Makes sense. Control the input early. Number 2, limit negativity exposure. This sounds like it takes serious discipline.
It does. The source is pretty blunt. Every complaint you listen to or voice, every fear-based news story you consume, every bit of low-level drama, it pulls down your mental frequency. It drags you out of that creation mode. So yeah, you have to become almost ruthless about guarding your mental energy. What you allow into your mind matters.
Okay. Number 3, utilize priming techniques. This sounds interesting. What does that involve?
Since the goal is neurological tuning, the material recommends tools that can help prime the subconscious. This could be things like listening to specific audio tracks, maybe binaural beats, isochronic tones, guided meditations designed to encourage theta or gamma brainwave states. It's kind of like a shortcut, bypassing the conscious critical mind to nudge the subconscious towards the desired frequency.
Right, using tools to support the internal shift.
Okay.
Number 4 brings back that leverage idea. Think value, not effort.
Exactly. Constantly ask yourself, how can I multiply my impact? Instead of just, how can I work harder? Focus on the value you deliver to the world or the market or your clients. That's what generates real wealth, not just the hours clocked.
And finally, number 5, celebrate small wins. Why is this one so important?
Because it's crucial feedback for your subconscious. Every time you achieve something, even minor, that aligns with your goals, consciously acknowledge it. Feel good about it. This reinforces the pattern. It tells your brain, see, success and abundance are normal for us now. It helps cement that new neural pathway, making the abundance mindset feel more real and automatic over time.
So really, this whole deep dive boils down to one core idea. Creating wealth is becoming less about external hustle and more about internal mental alignment. It's about tuning yourself first.
That's pretty much it. Your brain is the most powerful asset you have for wealth creation, arguably. But like any high-performance engine, it needs the right fuel, the right environment, and intentional tuning to operate at its peak frequency. Aligning your thoughts, beliefs, and focus with this frequency of abundance is presented as the way the ultra-rich seem to magnetize success.
And that final thought from the material really sums it up perfectly for this deep dive. The biggest difference isn't just luck or opportunity, it's awareness. Awareness of your own internal state. Once you start intentionally shifting that internal frequency, how you think, how you act, what you believe the claim is, your outer world starts to reorganize itself to match. So maybe the question for you listening is, what's one small intentional change you could make to your internal frequency starting today? Maybe it is just 10 minutes of silence. Maybe it's filtering out one negative source. Just something to begin seeing possibility where maybe you only saw limitations before. Definitely something to think about. Keep exploring that, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.